This is day 3 of the special session to deal specifically with the state budget. Joining me on the phone now from his office at the state capitol is the president of the state Senate, Senator Bill Cole. Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Mike.
Hey, listen, you've got some heavy lifting to do there, and you and the Senate started on some of the tax increases yesterday. Tell us what's happening on your side of the aisle there.
Well, I think that it would appear that there's support, bipartisan support for a 45 cents a pack increase on cigarettes, and that'll net us $71.4 million if that goes through as it is. So that's a step in the right direction to try and pull down a $271 million shortfall. But I've been preaching all along that a balanced approach is the way we need to look at this. We need to look for additional cuts in state government where we can find them, and then depend on rainy day or cash sweeps, reappropriations. But we will get this one done.
Senator, you've like I mentioned, you guys have some heavy lifting to do. The governor seems to be at odds with his own party, the Democrat leaders, at least in the House, and it appears as if this 1% sales tax and the telecommunications tax, does it have any support to those measures in the Senate?
Mike, I really don't think so. We're trying to decide whether to put them in the committee or not. If there's zero support on either side of the aisle for it just doesn't seem appropriate that we need to take them up. But I'm one vote. I don't run this thing as a dictator by any stretch of the imagination. If we want to debate those, I'm happy to do it. But you mentioned the governor being at odds with maybe a Democratic leadership, and that's the part that frustrates me a little bit, the amount of grandstanding that's still going on. Listen, we all need to roll up our sleeves, Democrat, Republican, doesn't make any difference. We just need to get this budget delivered so we can bring some certainty back to the operations of state government. My guest is State Senate President Bill Cole. Senator Cole,
Tim Miley, who is the minority leader in the House, a former speaker, told Hoppy on Monday that it was $1 or nothing on the cigarette tax, and he also supported increasing taxes on businesses. Is he out of touch? I mean, he seems to be out of touch with the governor's office, but is that the grandstanding you mentioned?
Well, certainly, I think it is. I mean, $1 or nothing. I mean, what if you're crawling across the desert, dying of thirst, and somebody comes and brings you half a glass of water? You going to push it back and say no, a whole glass or nothing? It defies logic to me. But he's not taken to being in a minority too well, so he's trying to make a bunch of noise. But in fairness, the Republicans have 64 votes down there, Mike. We shouldn't have to ask a Democrat to vote with us if we want to pass something. We ought to be able to pass it if it's the right thing, But truly, if it's the right thing, you hope to garner bipartisan support. This doesn't have to be a political game all the time.
Are we going to be able to bring some resolution to it, though, Senator? I mean, without staying there for 3 or 4 weeks to get this done?
Absolutely, we will. We're going to. The cigarette tax will be second reading. I hope that the Democrats in the Senate will allow us to suspend constitutional rules, which means we can take it all the way up to third reading and vote it over to send it down to the House. There's no reason to wait an extra day. All the conversation that needs to happen has happened, but it takes 4/5 vote to suspend rules.
Well, it seems like you were able to build some consensus with your members. I guess that cigarette tax will go. I mean, there's been a lot of controversy over the PEIA to give state and state employees some to relieve some of their concern. That's supposed to be dedicated to the PEIA issue.
Well,
is that right?
Yeah, that's I hope that brings folks some relief on that whole conversation. We've been saying all along, as long as we can fully fund the budget, then PEIA is secure. But by tying by amending this, actually we didn't amend it. We just it was ComSub, so it's part of the bill. But we dedicate a portion of that $71 million to make up the shortfall that they're looking at right now. So I think it'll bring the folks on PEIA the comfort, the relief that they need. Just take it off the table.
Senator, Promise scholarships. I noticed you made a pretty strong statement that Promise scholarships are safe, not to worry about it. Are they still safe?
Well, certainly I believe they are. I mean, I'm not sure what promise is made, but if we promise that we would provide that, then I think we ought to stay up with our promise, and that includes dipping deeper into rainy day if that's what we need to do. Where that program goes in the future, we'll just have to see. All of state government, all the programs we have are going to be under scrutiny because the budget. Somebody said it's not a budget crisis. That is true, but it's a financial crisis that West Virginia's facing, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. We're going to be dealing with this for the next couple of years probably, and so there'll have to be hard decisions made. But I think the promise will be secure for certainly for this year.
We're talking with State Senate President Bill Cole. Senator Cole, is there? What about additional cuts? Are there cuts that your finance committees are looking at or considering to offset the tax increases being proposed by Governor Tomlin?
Well, absolutely there are. But, keep in mind, the governor has already cut basically 20% in the last 2 years, just in across-the-board cuts. And, maybe this makes it pretty simple to understand. At the daunting task we're looking at now, this brings on a second conversation for the need of transparency in the budgeting process. So many things are off limits because they hide behind special revenue sources, and we're only looking at the general revenue money. So, of say a $4 billion general revenue budget, public education's $2 billion. So if you're not going to fool with public ed, take $2 billion off the table. The next $1 billion is Medicare, Medicaid, all the federal matches. Now you're down to $1 billion that you have to look at, and of the $1 billion, $400 million of it's higher ed. And if you're going to not touch that, now we're down to $600 million, and we're $270 million short.
Is that the number, Senator? Is it $270 million short for this current budget year that we're
270? It's 271 is the gap that we're trying to pull together in order to get this budget done. But I fear the other trap that we're falling into is we're overestimating, and remember, this is a number that comes out of the governor's office. We're overestimating what the revenue's really going to be. I mean, we came up $500 million, or will come up $500 million short in the current fiscal year, and we really haven't changed that revenue estimate downward to reflect what really happened in fiscal year 16. So now his revenue estimate assumes that we'll pass the 1% consumer sales tax increase and the telecommunications tax, which I don't think there's appetite for.
So what happens?
Well, the poor guy that walks in the governor's office next January is going to probably be facing another $300 or $400 million shortfall.
Well, and again, as the Republican nominee, that's some heavy lifting to do. I mean, you not only are you the Senate President, and obviously, I guess going through this exercise puts you in a much better position to deal with it than Jim Justice, your Democrat opponent. But his response I saw yesterday was to give back the $1.75 million that the state gives him for the Greenbrier Classic. So I guess he's trying to help, right?
Well, I'm not going to take anything away from him for doing that. I mean, certainly that money was one of the items that was being heavily scrutinized, and I would have expected probably would have come out of the budget. I mean, that's not when we're talking about cutting tough programs, that one's a little hard to defend. So probably would have come out anyway. But I'm glad that he took it off the table as a political, deal, and just said, I won't take it.
Hey, Senator, what would you like to tell our listeners as far as this special session? What kind of reassurances are you going to make the taxpayers, or would you like to make this morning to the taxpayers?
Listen, we have a constitutional obligation to pass a balanced budget, and we're going to do it. I know the governor hates to go into rainy day to balance a budget, and I understand that. I truly do. But it's going to take a real restructuring, a right sizing of state government in order to get past the budget woes that we're going to continue to face as long as coal and gas are in the tank. Well, gas in the tank, no pun intended. But, until we can start to have some relief there, listen, we're doing the things it takes in order to bring the jobs of tomorrow. We're gonna continue to work very hard to legislatively set the stage to put people back to work, to bring those job creators to West Virginia. But that is an investment in the future. That takes time to happen. So, the state government restructuring is exactly where this is going to have to come from.
State Senate President Bill Cole hammering it out a budget for the upcoming fiscal year and dealing with a substantial hole in the current year's budget. Senator Cole, thank you. I know you're busy. Thank you for taking time to be with us.
Hey, listen, we're going to get this thing done, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That's State Senator Bill Cole, the president of the West Virginia State Senate.